Hi everyone, hope you're doing great. Welcome back to our manual testing series. In today's session, we will explore the various types of testing and see examples for each of them. In the world of testing, there are two broad categories, the functional testing and non functional testing. Functional testing verifies that systems features work as described in the requirements. Its main focus is on what system does. Some of the examples could be the login page, entering the valid credentials, take the user to the next page or to the dashboard. Shopping cart, adding three items shows the correct count and the price. Banking application, transferring the 100 rupees updates both the sender and receiver's account. If you consider an analogy, in a restaurant, functional testing ensures ordering a pasta gives you pasta. The bill correctly sums food plus drinks. The right dish is delivered to the right customer. On the other hand, non functional testing validates the quality attributes of the system, like the speed, security, and usability. The main focus in non functional testing is how the system performs its job. Some of the examples could be login must complete in less than 2 seconds, even with 500 users logging in simultaneously, which basically talks about the attribute like the speed of the system. Okay, the wrong password 3 times should lock the account. This talks about the security feature. Button should be easy to use on your mobile devices. This talks about the usability. And the app should not crash after 24 hours of continuous use. It talks about the reliability of your application. If you take a same analogy of a restaurant, here the non-functional testing ensures that food served within 15 minutes. The kitchen is clean and safe. Restaurant can serve 200 guests at once. The fire exit and alarm are working as expected. Under functional testing, you have two important categories called as white box testing and black box testing. White box testing is testing the internal code, its logics, the algorithms, structures, and the control flows. Generally, the developers or the technical testers does the white box testing. The examples are unit test for calculating the tax functionalities, verifying all the if else conditions so that code covers all the paths, the code coverage analysis. In a real world analogy for the white box testing is like an mechanic opening the car hood to inspect the wire, fuel and the engine parts. It is like the developers opening a code, checking the business logics, the the code construct, the control flows, etc. On the other hand, the black box testing is testing the functionalities by giving the inputs and checking the outputs. So, what we are doing, we don't know the internal working, how the code is organized, what is the control flow, how is the business logic, etc. We know that if you give this input, you can expect this output. Okay, the testing the functionality by giving the set of inputs and checking the outputs without looking at the code. This is what we call as an black box testing. Some of the examples for the black box testing, some of the examples for the black box testing could be valid login credential leads to a successful login, adding items to a cart, the price and quantity match, invalid email format, an error message should be shown. Okay, and you can also compare or take an analogy of the black box testing to an vending machine where you only press the buttons and check the output. No idea about the internal working, right? So this is how the black box testing works. What you see here is a famous testing pyramid, which illustrates the different types of testing, when to execute them for the maximum benefit, and how they should be covered. Unit testing is basically done by the developers. These are the first most tests to be done when the code is being developed. Okay. The definition for the unit testing is it is the smallest test for one function or a method. For example, if you are developing a function as an add that takes two parameters and then testing that functions with the different inputs is called as an unit testing. Okay, these tests are very fast. All of them are automated and they can run in run in seconds. Okay, that forms your the base of your pyramid. So you should have maximum number of unit tests at earlier stages of your software development to catch as much as defects as possible. As I told, this is a white box testing completely done by the development team and it can be 100% automated. Next one is an integration testing. It basically verifies how the different software modules or the building blocks of a software works together when they interconnected with each other. A good example could be login services connects with the database to fetch the user profile to verify that the user the user who is trying to log in has a correct credentials or not. Okay, so this is a second type of a test that should be done after the unit testing. Here also you should be covering as much as possible because most of the tests can be automated here and they can also run faster. Okay, this is partially a white box and partially a black box because some of them can be easily done by the development team. Okay, and the responsibility lies in between the dev team as well as the QA team, and majority of the test here can be automated. Then later in your picture comes the system testing, system integration testing, and the exploratory testing. They mainly focuses on the end user customer journeys. For example, like um, log in, then search for a product, add the product to the cart, then the payment and the confirmation. Okay, this can you can treat it as one complete journey. So system testing, system integration testing, and exploratory. Apart from the exploratory testing, system testing and system integration testing is mainly focuses on simulating the real user journeys. Okay, we are going to talk more about that. These are all black box testing and predominantly done by the QA team, the business users, as well as the end users. They are partially automated and partially manual. Okay, so you can also use some of the tools like Selenium or a Playwright to um, completely automate the end-to-end journeys. End-to-end journeys. If you compare this test pyramid into a real world example of building a house, the unit testing are like putting the foundations. Okay, then the integration testing is like keeping the bricks and patching the bricks with the cement. Okay, and once the wall is built, then painting and finishing is just like doing your end-to-end test or an UI test. Now let us cover the integration system and system integration testing in detail with some good examples. Integration testing, as I told, it is partially the white box testing and partially a black box testing. As the name indicates, the integration testing basically checks the integration or an interaction between the different software blocks. Okay, by the technical definition, the integration testing verifies the software modules interact correctly. For example, banking transfer, update both sender and receiver balances correctly or not. Food app order flows correctly from the application to the backend to the restaurant. You can also think of like an analogy like engine, brakes, and steering work together in a car. Once the different modules of the software are get integrated and then they tested, then the system testing basically starts. Okay, the main focus of the system testing is to test the complete system end to end. Okay, if you can take an example of e-commerce application, testing the complete application from the login, then selecting a category, then searching a laptop from the electronics category, and then putting the laptop into a cart, checking out and doing the payment, and then receiving the confirmation mail. Okay, testing the complete user journey is a part of system testing. You can also compare this to an analogy as guest in a restaurant experiencing the entire meal service. Once the system testing is done, then it is time to do a system integration testing. System integration testing mainly focuses on verifying the system with integrations or interactions with the external services. A good example could be an online shopping. It has an interaction with the external services like PayPal for payments, DHL for shipping, and email for sending the notifications. Okay. In case of an hospital system, the government health API. Okay. The entire the hospital system, it gets integrated with the government health API. Okay, so you can also have an analogy. You can also compare with the mobile application using the Google or a Facebook login. So whenever you are testing the external services, then you are telling that you are doing the system integration services that verify the system interaction with the external services. Exploratory testing generally happens after the system and system integration test. Once the product works as expected, right? Then we basically conduct the exploratory testing. It is basically a creative testing. It is also an unscripted testing by the human intuitions. Some of the examples could be entering the emojis in your username, trying to buy an item with a negative price, clicking a back button reportedly during a checkout process. And just to check how the system works in these conditions. The analogy could be a tourist exploring a city without a map. Okay. Now let us try to understand other categories of testing in a black box testing area. So one of them is a smoke testing. The smoke testing is a quick testing. It is why to test the stability of your build. Okay, when a build is given to you, you just check you make a quick check to see that whether this build is worthy to take up other testing. Example could be, can I log in, search and add a cart after a deployment. Okay, so you can compare to an analogy of turning a brand new TV to check whether it powers up or not. Sanity testing is a narrow, deep test for bug fixes and for the new features. So it is like testing only a forgot password after a bug fix. Okay, you can basically consider an analogy of checking a fixed door hinge before moving it. Next comes and regression testing. It's just like ensure the new code does not break the old functionality. So example could be adding an Apple Pay to test the old cart and checkout still works fine. Analogy could be renovating one room in a house and checking others are not damaged. User acceptance testing. It is a final testing by the end users to validate the business needs before actually make the application to live into the production. Okay. The example could be retailer sells an item via POS, prints the receipt and checks the sales report. Bank staff approves and loan using the new system before the release. Now let us cover the different categories of the testing that we perform under the non-functional testing. Non-functional testing basically checks how well the system works with the speed, security, usability and scalability instead of just what it does. Its main focus is how well the system works. So performance testing is like how quickly the application responds to your request. Okay. Under performance testing, we have the different types of testing like a load testing, stress testing, spike testing, endurance testing, and things like that. Load testing is just like an if you can give an example like Amazon handling 1 million shoppers on a Black Friday. Okay, so there are a lot of load, but still the application should work as expected. Stress testing is like banking app hit with 5 million logins in a minute. That is called a stress testing. You are stressing the systems. Spike testing is concert tickets. That is a sudden traffic burst. Okay, and endurance testing is like Netflix stream runs 72 hours continuously. So it is about how long your application can run without crashing. Okay, you can think of an analogy like an highway that or a bridge that is handling the cars at a rush hour. Security testing is a type of software testing that focuses on identifying the vulnerabilities, risks, and weaknesses in the application or a system so that sensitive data and resources remains protected from an unauthorized access. The main goal of security testing is to protect the data from breaches and leaks, ensures only authorized users have an access. The verify secure communication and data storage, identifying the loopholes that could be exploited by the hackers. Okay, some of the examples for the security testing could be penetration testing, that's simulating the real world attacks to find the weaknesses, vulnerability scanning, using the tools to detect the security issues, authentication and authorization testing, ensures the login and the user roles work securely. Data encryption testing, checking whether sensitive data is encrypted poorly. Session management testing, verifying secure handling of the sessions, examples, cookies, and the tokens. Analogy is a house with strong locks, CCTV, and alarms. Usability testing is a type of software testing that focuses on how easy and user friendly the application is for the users. It checks whether the users can navigate the system smoothly and understand the interface and complete their tasks without confusions or an errors. The main goal of usability testing is to ensure that application is simple and intuitive to use. Verifies the user can perform the task efficiently, identify any confusing designs, layout, or navigational issues. Okay, some of the examples of usability testing can include like asking a real users to perform a specific task and observing their experiences, checking if the buttons, menus, and forms are easily understand and use, evaluating the response time and error message for clarity, testing the accessibility for the users with disabilities. Analogy is like a supermarket with the clear signs and wide spaces. Reliability testing checks whether the software application can perform its function consistently and currently with a specific condition for a certain period of time. It ensures that system is dependable and produces the accurate results without any failures. The goal of reliability testing is to verify the consistent performance across multiple runs, identify the failure over extended usage, ensure the accuracy and correctness of the results. Examples could be running the same operation repeatedly to check for the errors. Whereas stability testing ensures the software remains stable and continues to work smoothly over time, even under stress or when used for a long duration. It is about how well the system holds up without crashing or slowing down. The goal of stability testing is to ensure the application runs without interruption over time, detect memory leaks or resource issues, verify that system does not degrade in performance. Example could be keeping the application running continuously for several days or uh, several years or several months. Okay. Analogy could be refrigerator running 24 bar 7 without failing. Compatibility checks ensures that whether the software application works correctly across different environment, devices, operating system, browsers, and network conditions. It ensures that the application provides a consistent user experience no matter where, how it is used. The goals of compatibility testing is to verify the application work on a different operating system like Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS. Ensures the compatibility across multiple browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari. Check the responsiveness of the various devices like desktop, tablet, mobile. Validate the behavior in different network conditions. Example could be testing a website looks and works the same in Chrome and Safari browser, running an application both on Android and iOS devices. Analogy could be universal charger working on different devices. Maintainability and portability. Maintainability testing checks how easily a software application can be modified, updated, or enhanced after it is been deployed. It mainly focuses on how simple it is to fix the defects, make the improvements, and adapt the changes without breaking the existing system. The main goals are ensure the code is easy to understand and modify, verify that defects can be easily fixed, check whether adding a new features is smooth and does not introduce new issues. Examples could be measuring the time it takes to fix a bug, evaluating how easy it is to update the configuration, checking if the documentation and code structure make future changes simple. Whereas portability mainly checks whether a software application can be moved and run easily in a different environment, such as if you have developed an code in Windows system, is how easy it can be moved and deployed to the Linux or the Mac OS. The goal of the portability testing is to verify software can be installed and run on the different platforms, ensures a smooth migration from one environment to another environment, validate compatibility with the different hardware and cloud systems. Example could be running the same application on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS, migrating on premise application to the cloud and verifying its functionalities, checking if the mobile application works on a devices from different manufacturers. Analogy is travel adapter working in multiple countries. That brings us to the end of this session. I hope you enjoyed learning with me. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.